Good morning, it's Valerie here. Hi, how you going? I am coming to you after making yet another mistake in my diary. A long time ago, I discovered that a sign that I was under the pump and probably juggling, multitasking, trying to do too many things at one time would usually come from when I would make mistakes in my diary. When I was a solo practitioner, this and with no administrative support, this usually meant that two clients could turn up for the same appointment on the same day, and one of them was not in my diary. And I found that this would commonly occur probably during peak periods when there's a lot of competing demands, particularly when my children were younger and the end of the year calendar was really frantic with concerts and notes that you had to sign for the excursion and things like that, coinciding with my clients' worlds also becoming really, really frantic. Of course, at this point in time, with everything that's going on, I'm going to be delivering a webinar in not too long where I'm actually going to be talking about the reason why we may be feeling decision-making fatigue. And there's a reason for why that is. In order for us to make decisions, there's a couple of ingredients that is required. First of all, we need some input and information. There needs to be some things that you can say for certainty is going to happen, like at least a paradigm, a parameter, or a context. Then from there, you glean information, tried and true methods, you get novel ideas thrown in, you brainstorm, and then you go through a process of evaluation, and then you kind of problem solve and mark out a timeline to execute that decision. Now, with everything that's going on right now, this all changes. We don't have a context that is fairly concrete. Markers are moving, information keeps changing. When you try to scenario plan, it's very, very difficult. And yesterday I found myself after a whole day of administrative, it was a half day of administrative issues. However, I had probably the most contact with needing to work with my colleagues on some administrative issues. And I found myself at the end of the day really fixating on the thought that I'm just not good at this. I'm really bad at admin. I'm really bad at keeping things routine. I really make my team struggle because of the mistakes that I make. They have to work so much harder to support me. And also, are you able to actually function without having this many people support you? Why are you so incompetent? And it spiraled down to some thoughts that are really sticky and are really hard to get out of. I realized that this was a kind of fixating on critical thoughts of self, because what I was actually doing was looking at evidence that was really not substantiated. The point is, it's too hard at this point in time to be able to clamp down on some routine, mechanical ways of doing things. Mistakes are going to happen. It's the flip of it is, if you're very, very strong on details and administrative processes, you might actually find yourself a little over-reliant and rigid on them as well. So at this point in time, flexibility and adaptability is required, which includes our appraisals of our abilities, our competencies. We actually got to be flexible and adaptable at this point in time to actually say that we're acquiring new skills each day. For example, today I'm acquiring the new skill of actually multitasking a bunch of virtual meetings that are happening today. For me, it's a lot easier to remember things when the interactions are tangible, a lot harder for me to attend to them and remember when they're not physically in my room. The fact that someone's in your room, I have an uncanny ability to track people's laundry soap. I can actually tell who's come into the house based on the trace of the smell that they leave behind. It's a bit weird, but it just is what it is. And so having those sort of markers when you're having people meeting with you, your memory is facilitated and enhanced. It's a really sterile environment when you're doing meetings via Zoom. And so my memory is probably going to be compromised. So now's not the time to fixate really on mistakes and errors being made. It doesn't define you. It's probably a sign of adjustment. It's probably a sign of overuse of some of your faculties. You probably just need to not sweat the small stuff, do something different, and regroup to try again. Okay, take care.